In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the rear brake hose on this Nissan Altima. Leads from your brake line to your rear caliper, so let's get started. The first step is to remove the wheel. If you have hubcaps, it is easier to pull them off first. If not, you can just remove the lug nuts. These hubcaps should just pry right off with your hands. Now you can use a 21mm socket and remove all 5 lug nuts and then pull the wheel off. I'm going to pinch off the old brake hose so that it stops leaking as soon as I disconnect it. I would not be pinching off the new brake hose, so that's why I'm doing it on this one, because you can actually damage it internally by doing this. I have some special pliers that are made for this. If you don't, you can just use some locking pliers, or you don't have to do this if you can just work quickly, but I prefer to do this on the old hose so that I know it's not going to keep pouring out as I'm working. Using a 12mm socket or wrench, remove the banjo bolt from the back of the caliper. Have a collection bucket underneath because brake fluid will start leaking at this point. All right, take that off. Inspect the banjo bolt. If it's in good condition, you can reuse it. Mine's brand new, so I'm good to go, but if yours is old, worn, or it's rusted in any way, you want to replace it. Now take the banjo bolt and put one new copper washer on it. Then take the end of the hose where the hook is facing away from, slide the bolt through, and on the other side, put another copper washer on. Just like that, the hose needs to be sandwiched in between the 2 washers, and carefully install it on the back of the caliper, making sure that the hook for the hose falls right into its slot that's cut out for it. Torque this to 20 foot-pounds. What you're looking to do here really is to just crush those 2 copper washers together to create a nice tight seal. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to pop the bleeder screw cap off and open up the bleeder screw so that as soon as the hose connects, it can start the gravity bleed. Use an 8mm wrench for this. There we go, we'll leave that open. Follow the brake hose to the other side and you'll see where it connects onto the brake line. Use a 10mm flare nut wrench. It looks like this and it grabs onto a couple extra sides as opposed to a regular open-ended wrench. And just try to break this fitting free. I already sprayed it with rust penetrant, hoping that it would free things up a little bit. What you're looking for is to spin the fitting off of the line, and you don't want to twist the line with it. That would break it if you spin it too many times. Well, that just broke the threads free from the hose, but the line is spinning with it. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to try to work it back and forth. However, if I can't break the fitting free off the line, what you can do is just twist the hose off of the fitting and leave this in place. But it looks like I just broke it free off the line, so that's good news. I'm going to keep spraying it with some rust penetrant to give it some lubrication. Work it back and forth. Perfect. All right, that's spinning nice and freely. I can keep unthreading this. Work it back and forth as you do this. Now, before I go too far, what I want to do next, now that I know this is free, is remove this locking clip that holds the hose onto this bracket on the body. One of the easiest way to do this is with some pliers, or you could use a pry bar or screwdriver. Just grab onto it, twist it, and remove it. All right, so now the hose is unlocked, and we should be able to pop it off. Now, before I completely remove this and disconnect the fitting, I'm going to take a wire brush and clean this area. I don't want sand and debris getting inside the brake line. Now continue unthreading this fitting. You can switch to a regular open-ended wrench at this point if you wanted to. Okay, there we go. Hose is off. The line is leaking, so we'll have to move fast at this point. Take the new hose, slide it through carefully to not get debris in it. Don't worry about lining it up with the bracket. For now, all we have to do is start in the fitting. That way it can get tightened up and stop leaking. Now that it's bottomed out, I'm able to line up the hose with the bracket and snug this up a little bit more since the bracket is holding it. Let's put this clip on. This is going to lock in the hose. Tap it in with a hammer. Remember, if the hose isn't lined up, the clip isn't going to go in. Perfect, that's bottomed out right there. I'm going to give this, now that it's bottomed out and snugged, about 1/8 of a turn, and that's plenty tight right there. Spray this down with brake parts cleaner so we can make sure everything is clean so that we can detect any potential leaks. And because we left our bleeder screw open, it is now done gravity bleeding. Now, it is recommended that you do a full manual brake bleed, which you will see how to do right at the end of this video. But for now, I see no air bubbles coming through the bleeder screw with the gravity bleed, so I can close this off. I'm going to wipe off any brake fluid that dripped down, and of course, spray it off with brake parts cleaner. Once you're done, cap this off so debris doesn't get in there and clog it up. Put the wheel back on. Start on all 5 lug nuts. We'll bottom them out in a cross pattern, and also in a cross pattern, we're going to torque them to 83 foot-pounds. "83 foot-pounds in a cross pattern, here we go. Double check them all. If your wheel had hubcaps, put them on now, and make sure that when you put them on, this cutout goes around the valve stem, otherwise the hubcap won't go on. Take it for a road test. Under the hood, you'll find the brake master cylinder on the driver's side, right behind the air filter housing. Wipe off any debris that might be around the cap so that when you remove it, none of it gets inside the master cylinder. Turn the cap counterclockwise and pop it off. And as you'll see right on the cap, it says that it takes .3 brake fluid, so make sure you have plenty on hand for this brake bleed. What I'm going to do first is actually remove the fluid that's already in the master cylinder. I like to start with fresh fluid, and to do that, there's a little screen in here that you have to pull up on. Now, sometimes these get stuck, so we might have to use a pocket screwdriver or a little pick to pull this up. Otherwise, you cannot remove the old brake fluid to begin with. There it is. Set that aside. Now you can use anything that will extract brake fluid safely to remove the old fluid from the reservoir. I'm going to use a vacuum pump with a little reservoir and suck it all out. If you have a fluid extractor, you could use that, or anything that'll fit down there that'll remove the brake fluid. All right, that's about as much as I'm going to be able to remove. You'll never be able to remove 100% of it, but the more you can get out, the better, so that you can start with more fresh fluid. Put this little screen back in so that when you add brake fluid, everything gets filtered, just in case. Top this off with clean brake fluid all the way up to the max line. You can see it right there. You may need a funnel for this, since the cowl will actually be in the way of the master cylinder for you to top it off with brake fluid. Go slow, because these screens often prevent the brake fluid from flowing in very fast. That one bottle filled it up completely, so let's cap off the master cylinder so that debris and moisture don't get in. Brake fluid is hydroscopic, so it does absorb moisture. And now let's begin the brake bleed. The bleed sequence for this vehicle starts at the right front wheel, move over to the left front and bleed that, then top off the master cylinder, then move over to the right rear, and then the left rear is where you're going to end. Now, if you do need to repeat the process after this, if you feel that the brake pedal is not firm enough and you think you still have air in the system, repeat the process in the same sequence. And of course, don't forget to top off the master cylinder after every other wheel. Now we're at the right front caliper, and I have an assistant in the vehicle ready to pump up that brake pedal to create pressure in the system. Go ahead and pump. All right, they're holding, so I'm going to put this hose on. This will direct the flow of brake fluid so it doesn't go all over the place. And with a 10mm wrench, I'm going to open this up while they hold. And fluid comes out. Once the pedal reaches the floor, we can close this off Go ahead and pump again. All right, we just want to do this until we see no air bubbles. This was a clean stream of brake fluid, so let's do it one more time. All right, this is nice clean fluid with no air bubbles. You can let go of the brake pedal now. I'm going to remove this. If you spilt any brake fluid, use brake parts cleaner to clean this off. And once it's dried up, go ahead and cap the bleeder screw off. Now we'll move on to the left front. After the two front wheels, it's time to top off the master cylinder, so remove the cap and fill it up to the max line. Once it's full, put this back on. With the master cylinder topped off, we're now at the right rear wheel. This is our third caliper. I'm going to remove the bleeder screw cap, and the assistant in the vehicle can go ahead and pump. They're holding pressure. This is an 8mm bleeder screw now, so downsize from the front. Go ahead and open this up while they're holding pressure. And once the pedal has reached the floor, you can close it up and go ahead and pump again. All right, they're holding, gonna open again. And let's do this again, go ahead and pump. All right, this was clean. Let's do it one more time, go ahead and pump. Perfect. You can release the brake pedal. Take this off, and once again, if any spilt, you can go ahead and clean this off with brake parts cleaner. Wipe it off, and cap off the bleeder screw so it doesn't get debris in there. Move over to the left rear wheel and do the same thing. Now that we're all done, let's top off the master cylinder one last time. Take the cap off and fill it up all the way to the top. With it full, close this off, and if you need to continue bleeding, go ahead until your brake pedal feels nice and firm with the engine off. But if you think you are completely done with the brake bleed, the wheel torque is 83 foot-pounds, so put all the wheels back on and take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.